Commander Alex Hayes stood on the edge of the landing platform, staring at the alien research station that rose out of the rocky landscape like a dark, jagged fortress. The station was unlike anything humans had built. Its metal surface shimmered in the dim sunlight of this remote colony planet, reflecting colors Alex couldn't name. The air was thin, carrying a cold, metallic scent. Alex adjusted his suit's filters and checked his equipment one more time. He had been sent to investigate reports of strange energy readings here, but no one expected to find anyone or anything alive. The station doors were sealed tight, but Alex's access tools allowed him entry. The moment the heavy doors hissed open, a chill ran down his spine. The corridors were silent, except for the soft hum of still operating machinery. His boots echoed on the metal floors as he moved deeper inside. He had explored abandoned human outposts before, but there was something different about this place. It was alive in a quiet, unnatural way, as if the walls themselves were watching. Rounding a corner, Alex saw it. A faint glow in a small chamber drew him in. Inside, a figure floated within a transparent containment field. At first, he thought it was a mannequin, but the subtle rise and fall of the chest told him otherwise. She was an alien, unlike anything in human records. Her skin was a pale silver, her eyes wide and dark, almost liquid in their depth. Her hair floated around her head like it had no weight. Injured or weakened, she seemed to shimmer, as if she were both there and not there. Alex activated his translator device and spoke. "Hello, I'm Commander Hayes. I mean no harm. Can you understand me?" The alien's eyes widened slightly. A soft, musical tone echoed in the chamber. The translator hummed, converting her language into words Alex could understand. "I am Lyra. Help me." Alex frowned. "How did you end up here?" he asked. "Who trapped you?" Lyra's hands pressed lightly against the containment walls. "I experiment. Failed. Energy. Trap." She looked exhausted, her voice thin and trembling. Alex stepped closer, inspecting the control panel beside the field. "I can get you out," he said, though uncertainty gnawed at him. "But I need to know how this field works." Over the next few hours, Alex worked, carefully studying Lyra's alien technology. She communicated with gestures, pointing to buttons, lights, and panels. Slowly, he understood that she had been experimenting with interdimensional travel and accidentally trapped herself inside this energy field. The machinery hummed with dangerous power. One wrong move could fry the entire station or worse, her. As they worked together, a cautious rapport developed. Lyra, though fragile, displayed intelligence and curiosity that matched Alex's own. She asked about Earth, about humans, about simple things like why he drank water from a bottle instead of from a stream. Alex explained, and she listened with fascination, her eyes sparkling when she learned something new. In turn, he was captivated by her knowledge of energy manipulation, alien physics, and strange, beautiful devices that defied human understanding. By evening, Alex had managed to partially stabilize the containment field, enough that Lyra could move without being crushed or burned by the energy around her. But the station was not safe. Alarms began to blare, red lights flashing as security protocols triggered. The drones that patrolled the station, still operational despite the apparent abandonment, considered Alex and Lyra intruders. Alex grabbed his blaster and motioned for Lyra to follow him. "We need to find shelter," he said. "Somewhere safe until I can shut down the security system." Lyra's expression was unreadable at first, but she nodded, floating beside him with delicate steps that made her seem almost weightless. They moved through the corridors, avoiding drones and dodging energy pulses that threatened to fry anything in their path. Finally, they reached a small living quarters. It was narrow, not much bigger than a human bedroom, but intact. The lights flickered, revealing a single bed in one corner. Lyra's injuries made her slow, and Alex helped her sit down. She gave a faint, tired smile. "There's only one bed," she said softly, her words almost musical. Then, without any threat, she moved closer, sitting beside him with an air of quiet trust. Alex felt a strange mixture of surprise and responsibility. He was a trained soldier, used to danger and hostile encounters. Yet here was someone utterly vulnerable, depending on him completely. The station might be full of unknown threats, but he could not leave her alone, not when she trusted him. As night fell, the two of them shared a quiet space. Alex checked the containment field controls again, ensuring that the energy did not spike dangerously. Lyra watched him, fascinated by every movement. She had never met a human in this context before, and there was something in Alex's calm determination that reassured her. "Why, help me?" she asked quietly, almost to herself. Alex paused, considering. "Because no one deserves to be trapped like this. And because you're not alone anymore. I can help." Her eyes softened, and she reached out, brushing her hand lightly against his arm. It was a simple gesture, but it carried trust, gratitude, and something else he could not name. He smiled, a small, human smile. "We'll get through this," he said. Throughout the night, Alex and Lyra worked in quiet harmony, studying the station's systems and planning their next steps. Each time a drone passed by outside the room, Alex felt the weight of danger. But he also felt a strange, growing bond with Lyra. She was different from anyone he had ever met. Not just because she was alien, but because she challenged him to think, to care, and to see the universe through another perspective. As dawn approached, the station's red emergency lights faded, replaced by a soft, pale glow from the planet's sun. Alex leaned back, exhausted but alert. Lyra watched the sunrise through a reinforced window, her eyes reflecting the colors of the alien sky. "You see, the world is not always as harsh as it seems," she said softly, almost a whisper. Alex nodded. "Sometimes it's the small moments that matter the most," he replied. Lyra smiled, a genuine, fragile smile, and in that moment, Alex felt a connection stronger than words. They were two beings from completely different worlds, brought together by circumstance, danger, and trust. And despite the uncertainty of what lay ahead, they had each other for now. The night had been a test not just of survival, but of trust, courage, and understanding. Alex realized that the challenges of the station, the alien drones, and the unstable energy fields were only part of the journey. The true challenge was navigating this unexpected bond, learning to protect someone completely unlike him, and discovering that even in the most dangerous places, humans had a way of making a difference. The story of that first night would stay with him forever, not because of the danger or the alien technology, but because in the quiet, tense moments, he had learned something uniquely human: compassion, trust, and the courage to care for another life, no matter how alien it might be. And as he watched Lyra close her eyes, resting beside him for the first time in what might have been centuries, Alex knew that the real adventure was just beginning. Together, they would face the unknown, survive the station, and maybe, just maybe, change each other's worlds forever. The next morning, the station seemed quieter than before, but Alex knew it was only the calm before the storm. The faint hum of the machinery filled the halls, blending with the distant sound of alien drones patrolling the corridors. Lyra stirred, sitting up slowly on the single bed, her silver skin glimmering faintly under the soft light of the alien sun streaming through the small window. "Are you ready?" Alex asked gently, offering her a hand. Lyra looked at him, her dark eyes filled with a mixture of determination and caution. She nodded. "Yes, Must fix. Power core. Send. Signal. Alex led her through the winding corridors, careful to avoid the drones. The station's layout was complex. A maze of hallways, chambers, and observation decks. Alex relied on his instincts and military training, while Lyra offered guidance with her knowledge of the station's systems. Their movements were synchronized. A silent partnership formed out of necessity. As they approached the main power core, a sudden vibration shook the station. Sparks flew from exposed wires, and a low hum escalated into a dangerous roar. The drones detected them. Red lights flashed, warning of an intruder. Alex ducked behind a console, pulling Lyra down with him. "They are coming," he said, his voice calm but urgent. Lyra's eyes glowed faintly, and she whispered words in her own language. A subtle energy field formed around them, shielding them from the first wave of drone fire. Alex marveled at her control, knowing that this was the work of centuries of evolution, of intelligence far beyond human capability. "We need to reach the core," Alex said, motioning toward a distant door. "Cover me while I work on it." Lyra nodded and floated beside him, her hands emitting soft pulses that deflected energy blasts. Alex sprinted across the hallway, diving behind obstacles, while Lyra's shield absorbed most of the remaining attacks. They moved like a single unit, the human and the alien, each relying on the other. When they reached the core chamber, the room was bathed in an eerie green light. The core itself was massive, spinning with raw energy. Wires hung dangerously, some sparking, others dead. Alex approached the control panel, sweat forming on his brow. "Help me stabilize this," he said, handing Lyra a scanner device. Lyra's fingers danced over the alien interface. Energy. Unstable. Must align. Carefully. The next hour was tense. Sparks flew, alarms blared, and the drones tried repeatedly to break in. Alex's hands moved swiftly, rerouting circuits and stabilizing the power flow. Lyra guided him, her understanding of the alien technology, allowing them to progress faster than Alex could have managed alone. Finally, the core hummed steadily. A signal began transmitting from the station, reaching beyond the planet, seeking rescue or communication with human command. Alex let out a breath he hadn't realized he was holding. Lyra smiled faintly, exhausted but triumphant. "Good work," Alex said softly. She looked at him, her eyes warm and full of something more than relief. "Human, clever, brave," she said quietly. Alex felt a flush of pride mixed with something unfamiliar, a connection that went beyond mere survival. He smiled, but before he could say anything else, the floor beneath them shook violently. A deep rumble echoed through the chamber. "The station is collapsing," Lyra shouted, grabbing Alex's arm. They ran toward the exit, dodging falling debris and sparking wires. The drones, now more aggressive, attempted to block their path. Alex fired his blaster, destroying drones one by one, while Lyra's energy pulses protected them. Together, they were unstoppable. Human ingenuity and alien power blending seamlessly. Reaching the living quarters again, Alex noticed the bed still there. It was small. Not enough space for both of them to rest comfortably, but there was no time to think of comfort. The station's alarms screamed, a warning they needed to leave immediately. Lyra turned to him, her voice calm despite the chaos. "We leave. Together. Now." Alex nodded. "Agreed. Let's go." They sprinted through the corridors, dodging debris and drones. The station seemed intent on trapping them, shifting hallways and sealing doors as if it were alive. Alex's heart pounded, but his focus never wavered. Lyra mirrored his movements, her trust in him complete. They reached the docking bay, just as the station began to collapse behind them. The small escape craft shuddered as Alex initiated takeoff. Lyra floated beside him, holding onto the railing. Her eyes wide, but filled with trust. As they cleared the station, the structure behind them imploded, sending fire and debris into the atmosphere. Alex exhaled in relief. They had survived. Once they were safely in orbit, the tension began to ease. Alex turned to Lyra, who was still observing the destruction below with a mixture of awe and sorrow. "You saved me," she said softly. Alex shook his head. "We saved each other." Lyra looked at him then. Really looked at him. There was a quiet depth in her gaze. Something that transcended words. Alex felt the same. Realizing that their bond was no longer just about survival. It was about trust, respect, and an unspoken connection that neither could fully explain. As they approached the rescue fleet, Alex reflected on the events of the past day. He had encountered aliens before, but never someone like Lyra. Her intelligence, courage, and vulnerability had challenged him in ways no human could. And despite the danger, despite the chaos, he had felt something human, something profoundly real. The willingness to care for another being, no matter how different they were. The fleet welcomed them, and medical teams quickly attended to Lyra's injuries. Alex stayed close, explaining the situation to the officers. They listened in awe, amazed that both a human and an alien had survived such a dangerous station. Reports would be written. Accolades would be given. But Alex knew the true story was far more personal. That night, in the relative safety of the rescue ship, Alex and Lyra found themselves in a small cabin. There was only one bed. Lyra looked at him, a faint, tired smile on her lips. She said softly, "There's only one bed." Alex hesitated for a moment, remembering the first night on the station, the trust and subtle connection that had grown between them. He nodded, and they shared the small space, not out of necessity alone, but out of quiet companionship. Side by side, they rested. The dangers of the station behind them, and the unknown future ahead. Over the following days, Lyra and Alex continued to work together, sharing knowledge and experiences. The humans were fascinated by her abilities, but Alex noticed that Lyra's greatest admiration was always for him, not as a superior or protector, but as someone who had shown courage, ingenuity, and compassion in the face of unimaginable danger. In return, Alex learned from her. He understood alien technology, alien thought processes, and most importantly, the power of trust and empathy across species. The bond they shared was unique, built in the crucible of danger and survival, strengthened by every challenge they overcame together. By the time they returned to the human colony, their reputation had preceded them. Commanders, scientists, and even civilians were amazed by the story of a human and an alien surviving a collapsing station. But for Alex and Lyra, the accolades were secondary. What mattered was the connection they had formed, a partnership that was rare and precious. Standing together on the observation deck of the colony, watching the stars, Lyra turned to Alex. "You, human, strong, brave, heart," she said softly, words that carried more weight than any title or medal. Alex smiled. "And you, Lyra, intelligent, courageous, and unlike anyone I've ever met." They looked at each other, understanding without needing more words. Their bond was real, built on trust, courage, and shared experiences. It was not a fleeting connection, it was something enduring, a reminder that even in the vast, cold universe, life could forge alliances, friendships, and bonds that transcended worlds. And as the stars stretched endlessly before them, Alex knew that this was only the beginning. Together, they would face new challenges, explore new worlds, and continue to discover what it meant to survive and to trust across the boundaries of species and space. In the quiet of the night, with the galaxy stretching beyond, Alex and Lyra rested side by side. There was only one bed, but it no longer mattered. Trust, respect, and the bond they had built were enough. Whatever awaited them in the vast universe, they would face it together. And in that simple, quiet companionship, Alex realized something profoundly human. That courage, compassion, and connection could shine even in the darkest, most alien corners of the universe. The universe was vast, dangerous, and unknown, but together, they could navigate it, one challenge at a time, one shared moment at a time.